Hey guys, hope everybody's doing well out there. I appreciate you coming into the channel today. My name's Brian. Today we're plumbing, not water or gas, but air. So I've had quite a few people ask me through the years, they're like, why are you running plastic airline in your shop? That stuff blows up. Well, yeah, if you run it at 200 psi, it might. This airline has been running for years with 160 on it. Yeah, but I came out and turned it on today, and it's kind of the typical deal. Once every 2 or 3 years, I have to replace a fitting. The PVC pipe fittings crack right where they're molded together in whatever casting process they're using or whatever. So this is a good way to run your airlines. It does take some additional fittings, and that's one good thing about plastic is it's pretty cheap. Like I said, you just don't want to run it over the recommended pressure. This air system, it runs at 160 psi, and it lives through hot weather and cold weather. When you're making your drops, put a drip leg on that runs all the way down to the bottom, and you can drain your whole airline out. So this works pretty well. It's going to show you where the leak was, but you can't even see it. Okay. Gotta have a socket to take that loose. So there is a little parting line in this, and that's usually where they'll crack and leak. I've had a bunch of them crack right in this area as well. Those parting lines a little bit more pronounced on that fitting just because it's dirty. Now, when I prep these, I use 180 grit sandpaper and just lightly sand. They say the primer's good enough, and hey, I believe that. I've done it without sanding them on water lines and all that kind of stuff, but we're gonna put 160 psi on it, so I wanna give it every chance we can to stick. And everything oxidizes when it sits out, and this stuff is not brand new pipe. These pieces that I'm using, they're in bags, but they're not brand new. I always try to keep a good supply of everything, make sure I have every fitting I need to do this in stock on hand. And I know if I used steel pipe, I wouldn't have to worry about this, but steel pipe corrodes, and it's super expensive and it's hard to work with. If I used copper, it wouldn't have these problems, but then you gotta sweat the joints, and it is crazy expensive. And then there's several other airline makers out there that make really, really good stuff. And I'll try to pull up a web page and show you, but they are very expensive for somebody that's just working out of their garage at home to I'm sure most of you have used PVC cement and all that stuff before. We're just going to do one side of this fitting. Try not to go too crazy with the glue. I'll let the excess kind of drain out of that thing. And we got to have a reducer that goes in that to go from 1 inch down to 3/4. And that's something, I see a lot of PEX kits and everything online, and they're cool. Those kits, they're fairly small. And a lot of your HVLP spray guns, it's called HVLP because that's high volume, low pressure. So you need a high volume of air. 1 inch diameter, you're never gonna run short of CFM. And if you run enough of it, it's like adding extra capacity to your air system. So bigger is better, usually up to a certain point, and then you're not going to gain any more benefit after you go so big. And with just me working out here, this whole thing could probably be 3/4 inch. But hey, when I bought it initially, I bought the 1 inch piping. So I'm going to glue all these fittings up, and I'm probably going to leave them glued together for 3 or 4 hours before I try to do anything else. Now it's important when we put this together, we'll give that a little half turn or so, and that kind of spreads everything, make sure our glue's in there good. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to wipe the excess off because my glue is kind of thick. Imagine that. I think it may have sat for a while. Alright, we're going to give her the old trim job here with the chop suey blade. Hit our piece of pipe and make it go all crazy. That'll be perfect, won't it? And prime it all. Prime it all. Everybody's favorite is this nice purple colored glue, gets everywhere. Lets everybody know what you've been doing. Ask if you're related to Barney the dinosaur. Alright, and then the best. Glue the heck out of it, I guess. I think you can use too much of this glue, or you can try to put it under pressure too soon after you've put the glue on. I definitely know that. This stuff, we're going to let it sit. It's like hotter than hot out here right now. So it'll all be just fine. Now, just pick that unit up. And we drop that down on there. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle as much as we can. Wipe the excess and stick it on this glue can because we're going to throw that away here pretty quick, I do believe. Let's get the haters in the comments going. Plastic airlines. Are they okay? May or may not be for you. They might be against code for you. I don't know. I live out here in the middle of the countryside where code doesn't matter a whole lot. I did use the heaviest PVC pipe that I could when I built these. I know PEX has entered the scene and a lot of people are using it. More power to you. Those little brass fittings are expensive for that stuff. This stuff is not all that expensive. You could probably plumb your whole shop for a couple of $100, depending on how big that shop is, of course. Are you going to have maintenance issues? Yes, you are. I guarantee you. Just like this deal, you have a leak, you can hear it start. Well, you better replace it when you hear it start leaking because you don't want it to split wide open on you. I have heard of PVC air systems exploding. I have not personally seen it. I did see one that got too close to a heater, or someone installed a heater too close to it, radiant style heat, and yes, that caused an extreme problem. But that was just somebody not paying attention to how hot it was going to get. PVC pipe does not dissipate heat well, so you do need some kind of a condenser type of a setup. I've seen a couple of them built recently that use fittings and they run copper up and down the wall. So we just took a cue from old grandpa and set up us a coil here, kind of like you got on your old moonshine still, and it works. It keeps most of the water or the moisture down. It gives more surface area for heat to dissipate right there, because the fan on the compressor is running right there where that is. I've seen them stuck in a 35 gallons of water, the coil of copper. Only problem there is how are you ever going to clean that out? This one actually, everything drains back into the compressor and then we drain the tank every day. So whatever, that's enough rambling about air systems. It does work better if you do have some air line run off that compressor rather than just running a hose off of it. Definitely works better that way. So if you guys like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to hear more tech kind of stuff like this, working man stuff, leave a comment and let me know. Always, subscriptions are free, and we will catch you on the next one.